And hello, everyone, and welcome to 2021, where it still feels like 2020. It's only the fourth day in the year so far, but well, yeah, still feels like 2020. But positive attitude. Always, make sure self, turns the day around, having a positive attitude. Just being able to work through it and focus on the things that you can change and forget the things that you can't. One of the things that I will always try and forget. I don't know. Back in the day, back in 2010, a comment or viewers and commentators or no viewers of my channel were like, hey, you know what, you should open up a Bitcoin purse so that we can give donations in Bitcoin. And I'm like, ah, no, I don't have the time for it. And now it's just like, if I had accepted like $25 in Bitcoin, I could retire, right? But then again, there's no promise that I would not have already sold my Bitcoins earlier. But anyone out there from 2010 who is still watching, if you still have those Bitcoins, that $5, $10 that you wanted to give me, yeah, I'll accept those Bitcoins now. Anyways, let's go ahead and break things down. LabyRinth spawning as the red undead over here on the top right-hand side of the map, opening things up here, getting a necropolis off to the side here. Interesting choice here. That means he is going to be down on ziggurats inside his own base. The necropolis being this far out does give him a little bit of benefit, as it will generate blight off to this side already. Why don't you consider organizing some viewer tournaments? Um, because I have a full-time job, right? I mean, hats off. I love the Back to WarCraft guys. The Back to WarCraft guys have been able to dedicate themselves to the Warcraft 3 community. And the most I really have I can do is just to set aside an hour a day in the morning before the kids wake up. Before I have to tackle things on, because this is really more of a passion project than anything else. Passion projects are passion projects become obsessions if you start sacrificing other parts of your family as well, and definitely that's definitely the case that I don't want to do. Also, my timing just doesn't work out that well, as we're going to see the Death Knight that picked up that last hit there does have Claws of Attack +5, trying to escape there, and the resummoning of the Spirit Wolves does not trap. So Lin Guagua unable to surround that Death Knight. Death Knight with those Claws of Attack +5 now, looking to fight back here, as the Blight is already done over there at what I'll call the 11 o'clock location. Ghouls, more units continuing to fight their way through. Death Knight is back on Blight. Ghoul is going to continue to attack once more, as we're looking at a Death Coil finishing off one unit there. All right, another round of attack could finish off another Spirit Wolf. Is the Spirit Wolf going to be able to dive around in the back? Yes, it will. But how much damage can it really hope to do? Not very much at all, as we may see a resummoning here. Meanwhile, coming back off on the other side, Skeletal Minions trying to retreat back. We're going to see a resummoning of those Spirit Wolves. Death Knight looking to, well, pick up some more Skeletal Minions, as the damage is going to add back up. Double Skeletal Minions going to clear up that Forest Troll Trapper. Ghoul is going to go after those units, as well as we're looking at the Death Knight sitting. Well, I don't believe it will get to level 2 even after it clears out that Forest Troll Trapper. Should be a little bit shy right there. Yep, still going to be about 16 experience shy, as the Farseer looks to back or tries to push on this pressure once more. All right, one more Spirit Wolf will give level 2. That has to be very, very, well, problematic. As you can see, the Skeletal Minion right here, is it going to gain that little bit of experience? There's that resummon. Farseer going to jump on in, get that last hit right there. I don't know why LabyRinth did not go ahead and deny that little bit of experience, as the Farseer finally on the board with 24. All right, a little bit of damage. There's level 2 on the Death Knight. Death Knight pretty much on the money, gets the level 2, and the Farseer realizes with that 7.5% movement speed bonus on not only the Death Knight, but the Ghouls, well, it is not going to be good for that Farseer to stick around. That little bit of movement speed difference does start to play a bigger and bigger role, as the Death Knight wanders over to the giant sea turtle creep camp and finishes clearing it up. Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Hoping to well, start this year off with a bang as well. Thank you, all of you guys. Hopefully, you guys have had a great new year yourselves. As we're coming back across here. All right, Farsi, you're going to go ahead and try and clear out this Ogre Magi creep camp. It is a 5/3/3. Death Knight does have enough, plenty of mana to try and get a Death Steal or a Death Coil steal off on that Ogre Magi there, as we now see an ensnare on the Grunt, forcing Lin Guagua to try and, well, face this engagement here. Death Knight going to go ahead and get that a little bit of experience. Are we going to see a surround on that Grunt? No, we are not. 6 unit, no surround, as the Grunt able to escape. Even if there was the potential surround, the skeletal minions only have, what is that? 180 hit points. So it does end up falling here. Are we going to see a surround on the Farseer? No. Continual surround and positioning once more as the ghouls are looking to back up here. One Grunt will get taken down. There goes a Grunt. Death Knight is going to get a Death Coil off onto that ghoul. Yes, it will, and it will be able to stick around a little while longer as the Tauren Chieftain now makes his way out for Lin Guagua. Death Knight retreating back off to the north here. Interesting that there is this necropolis off to the north that really hasn't done very much of anything. We are already teching the tier 2, getting up this additional necropolis off to the side. Interesting choice, and I'm wondering what the long-term effects are going to be. All right, Death Knight, or well, excuse me, the ghoul now trying to back away down to 54 hit points. Death Knight now getting in some additional Wand of Illusions out on the map, as the ghoul back on Blight is going to be able to regenerate some hit points, and because of that Nerubian Tower, it's going to make it difficult for that, well, Spirit Wolf to do very much. Lin Guagua a bit behind right now, sitting on 2 level 1 heroes, going up against a level 3 Death Knight and a level 1 Lich. Tauren Chieftain has gone for Endurance Aura first, as we do see Wind Riders in the air. We've seen more Orc players go Wind Riders lately. And, well, the window of opportunity for those Wind Riders, however, does fall or snap shut pretty close, or slam shut pretty close, or pretty quickly, excuse me, or slams closed pretty quickly. Couldn't think that quickly, I'm sorry. But yeah, it slams closed pretty quickly, as the introduction of Crypt Fiends and or Gargoyles really makes a big impact on those Wind Riders. The question will be, will LabyRinth try to go for Gargoyles, which seems to be the immediate counter, but then you don't transition very well off of that particular unit. Going for Crypt Fiends seems to work a little bit better in terms of the late game army composition. They don't seem to be nearly as fragile. But what is this? Lin Guagua using this opportunity to go after difficult creep camps that you wouldn't normally go after. All right, we're looking at the Wind Riders just trying to bounce around here. Wind Rider trying to pull away. Tauren Chieftain gonna go ahead and engage here. What is going on here? That Red Drake really pulling a bit too far, as the illusion is just threatening the presence of the undead army. During this time, LabyRinth is using good use of this time to try and clear out these creep camps, but is he clearing out strong enough creep camps? That is the question. We had a level 3, level 1 advantage going up against level 1 moments ago. Now it looks as though, well, this is going to quickly turn back around the other way. Farsi are going to try and switch positions with the Wind Riders and the Tauren Chieftain fighting with their back against that Fountain of Health. Farsi are going to turn back around now. There it goes, going to continue to fight here. Are we going to see this Wind Rider try and pull back? Well, it does try and pull back here. Red Drake should end up getting taken down pretty quickly. Meanwhile, Undead going after the Goblin Laboratory with, well, a Lich gonna get to level 2 off of this, well, with the help of the Obsidian statues, and we are looking at Crypt Fiends already. Now, Lin Guagua, he must know that the Wind Riders, he's not trying to just get too far on the Wind Riders alone. Is he transitioning to Raiders already? No, he is still going into mass Wind Riders, sitting at 45 supply. I don't know if I quite agree with this, especially with your opponent being undead. Crypt Fiends are just that strong, and we are already going into Destroyer form with the Lich already having that Orb of Corruption. Pretty much the timing is going to be absolute key here, as both sides now find themselves in the center portion of the map, trying to figure out who is going to take this concealed hill location right in the middle. All right. Ogre Lord now going to try and engage here. Ogre Lord going to get trapped back down to the south. There you are. Tauren Chieftain going to go ahead and block that position. A giant cow in the way as the Ogre Lord is just in a bad spot. There's the Tauren Chieftain, but I believe the Undead actually got the experience. Tauren Chieftain got the items, and it is going to be Warsong Battle Drums. And I guess that is a good item for the Orc. I'm sure he probably would have preferred Command Aura or something else. As Warsong Battle Drums is just a Kodo Beast upgrade, but then again, it doesn't force him to try and have Kodo Beast out onto the field. Remainder of this creep camp will get cleared up. Meanwhile, Lin Guagua going back down to the south here, going to pick up, a potion of greater mana, and that Tauren Chieftain now sitting at level 3 has access to Stomp. To round out the undead heroes, we have the Dark Ranger as the third hero. Dark Ranger with Silence. And I like Silence on that Tauren Chieftain, or I like Silence being cast on that Tauren Chieftain because it kind of throws off the timing for many Orc players. Orc players, that timing, you know how important that timing is in order to get that stomp off in a location. There is that stomp right there. There's a chain lightning bouncing around right after. Are we going to see another silence as the Tauren Chieftain? No silence yet. Are we going to see a stomp? There it goes. Another beautiful stomp right there. And all the ghouls, the entire front line pretty much gone in a moment as we're now seeing destroyers, well, devouring magic already. There goes a third stomp as well, as the units are just trying to finish off more and more. 43 supply compared to 41. Who is actually winning out as a Crypt Fiend does get taken down, and we could be looking at destroyers or Venom or Venom Spears finishing off many of those units in the air. But now the Crypt Fiends finishing off the Wind Riders. And what is this? Both sides losing a lot, period. We're looking at the Tauren Chieftain. Is the Tauren Chieftain going to be able to throw down another stomp? He has used, there's the stomp right there. Death Knight, however, able to get the Death Claw off anyways, as the Dark Ranger going to be in a little bit of trouble. Death Knight still has plenty of mana. Tauren Chieftain could be in trouble. Talisman of Evasion, not going to be enough. There's a Death Coil. There's a Scroll of Town Portal to live and fight another day. Is the Farseer going to get there in time? Yes, he does, and he had taken out the Dark Ranger already. Beautiful game of back and forth here. Meanwhile, we're looking at, a Spirit Wolf trying to go after that Crypt Fiend, not going to be able to finish it off. The Crypt Fiend able to back up. 38 supply compared to 25. We are 12 minutes into this game. No one has expansions, and, well, this is a different pacing than I was expecting. With this Necropolis position, I was expecting Undead to go for a fast expansion attempt. And with that fast expansion attempt, go to 2 bases, sit in low upkeep around 60 to 70 supply, and then forcing the Orc to do the same. Instead, we're seeing both sides going on 1 base play to try and avoid taxes. As we're looking at the Farseer sitting at level 4, has a Robe of Magi, and, well, there's that Tauren Chieftain out onto the battlefield. Talisman of, those consumable items, the Potion of Invulnerability and Potion of Greater Mana, both were already used to great effect. But LabyRinth seems to be the one slightly ahead, sitting on a 44 supply compared to 34. LabyRinth having the tech advantage, having the hero advantage, as we're only going into Raiders now. Yes, we are at Fortress, and with the Fortress, well, Lin Guagua does have the option to set up a fast expansion, or set up an expansion quickly, not a fast expansion, set up an expansion quickly with that, well, tiny Great Hall. A bunch of peons, well, setting themselves up for failure already. Gonna go ahead and try and back away. What's this peon doing? Gonna go ahead and do a little bit of scouting, as well as all of the creeps on the map will now be falling. Wow. I forgot that sea turtle hatchlings can actually run away all the way to the backside there. I didn't know that there was actual gaps in the water for those sea turtle hatchlings to do exactly that. Read that don't want to diss Huck, but it was trash. His knowledge about current state of Warcraft 3 was pretty bad. Yeah, I read the general summary. I do think that there is a lot of things that Huck can, or that map makers can do with to help make positioning a bit better in Warcraft 3. Hero surrounds is incredibly important, but I think having non-destructible terrain be useful, um, you know, is perhaps one of the key things to trying to make a successful choke points in the game. Watchtower down to 60 hit points. Is it going to get repaired? I do believe so. It should be able to get a little bit of armor here in just a moment. The building is already on fire as the peon is going to go ahead and repair it. Where can I find it? I well, I know there's been a number of people who have linked it. If it's on Huck's Twitter, I know Frost Giant Studios also referenced it as well. Death Knight gonna go ahead and teleport all the way back to the side here. Torrent Chief gonna try to go after all these units. There's a destroyer going after some units as the Death Knight. Are we gonna see the death of the haunted gold mine? No, we are not. No, there's a silence. There goes a raider as all those units are teleporting back. 49 supply compared to 30. Lin Guagua just doing hit and run tactics. He says that there is no expansion play and no one ever goes 50 food. Maybe in 26, but not, yeah. Yeah, no, people do go above 50 food. This game, perhaps not a good example of that. Expansion play is very different, and the meta is constantly. You know what? Huck is allowed to have his opinion, but the general consensus about it is that that a great real-time strategy games can still be made. The real problem with trying to make a great real-time strategy game is who are you making the game for? Are you trying to make a purely competitive game? And we've seen that happen. We've seen companies and people just try to make a purely competitive game, and it doesn't really go anywhere. It's not fun. People may watch it, but it doesn't actually sell the game all that well. So that isn't the idea or the strategy you want to have when you're designing a video game, right? You want to be able to make a game that, that the people who have invested millions of dollars to fund all the development and the marketing to be able to have it pay off, right? I mean, that is at the end of the day, people want to be able to pay their families, and at the very least. All right, Dire Wolf now going to try and make their way back out. Let's not get into economics. I tend to share a little bit too much about economy there, as we have seen a transition from Stomp into Shockwave. All right, so Torrent Chieftain actually going for Shockwave over Stomp. And that is an interesting call. I am surprised that the Death Knight is still running that fast. We saw Scroll of Speed be used, and somehow the units are still able to keep up that distance as the Death Coil Frost Novas keeping problems in a beautiful pathing right there on that Raider. Is it going to get taken down? Yes, it will. Dark Ranger gets up to level 3 now. And this is just absolutely beautiful play coming in from LabyRinth. LabyRinth continuing to just deal massive damage across the board here. Lin Guagua sitting on a decent amount of gold, both sides sitting on 2 bases, but it really looks like the undead army, the Death Knight and that Lich, have been able to do so much damage. Dark Ranger, how is it that fast of a hero? The Dark Ranger is moving so quickly, it feels like, even outpacing the Lich, even though the Lich was the one that had the bonus of that unholy aura. All right. With the way the game is currently going, Lin Guagua is not going to be able to get units out onto the field to really survive here. No, actually, take it back. Those Raiders are going to be able to, take down one Obsidian statue, perhaps down another as well, as we could be looking at it. Are we going to see it right there? There goes another Obsidian statue. Torrent Chieftain and Farsi are getting a little bit of experience as the units go back the other way. 46 supply compared to 43. Lin Guagua is catching up in terms of supply. Does have a little bit more gold in the bank as another Death Coil Frost Nova, just making its presence known. However, a Crypt Fiend could end up getting taken down as those Dire Wolves with that death or with that critical strike on normal damage really likes to take apart those Crypt Fiends. All right, Lin Guagua using, perhaps, is he also using a lot of, oh, there goes another Chain Lightning. Acolytes are splitting up so quickly there, as a couple of, Acolytes will get taken down. There's that silence once more, and that silence seems like such a strong play now, as the Farseer was about to get taken down. Death Knight was in the process of the Death Coil animation. However, the Acolytes unable to keep up this gold mine. Hit and run tactics all game long. but he said Company of Heroes is the best real-time strategy, and it's, yeah, he's allowed to have an opinion, but it's a bad one. No, no hard feelings, and this is what we're talking about, right? Like, different players want different things from real-time strategy games. We're looking at a quick reveal right there, not enough to finish off that unit. Are we going to see another reveal again? Lich shows up to the party and says, you know what, how dare you go after my precious. I'm going to go ahead and try and take you down. Raider down to 89 hit points. Oh, one more shot should be enough. Dark Ranger shot finishes off, gets a skeletal minion as well. So um, yeah, that you need to find that balance of a balance where micro matters, where macro matters. I will say that Warcraft 3 is much more micro intensive. Your APMs, your AP, you like your, even though the armies are smaller, you can still lose control of your army, right? And that's what you, that's really what you want. You want a game where the decisions of the controller, the person who's controlling the army, really does make a very big difference. As we're looking at the Raiders now trying to push their way through, Frost Nova straight up, there's that Death Coil. Units are trying to make their way back out, and another, well, hit and run tactic once more. Dark Ranger trying to go after some of those units. Are we going to perhaps see any of those units get taken out? There goes another Frost Nova, and that movement speed. Could you imagine how quickly this army would be moving around if that unholy aura had the 20% movement speed as opposed to a 15 movement speed earlier? And this, so far, Lin Guagua has not been able to really catch up as much as he would like, I would think, as we see another Spirit Wolf getting taken out again. One Nerubian Tower, that is it. Tauren Chieftain Farseer still running around, constantly harassing, as we are still sitting in no upkeep play by both sides. Farseer, Tauren Chieftain, Scroll of, well, is that a Staff of Teleportation or Scroll of Town Portal? Looks like the Scroll of Town Portal right there. Units are already making their way in, trading in Scrolls of Town Portal, but a couple of Acolytes will be lost in that exchange. No additional Ziggurats being set up there. We're looking at the Raiders keeping quite a good distance as well. And we are looking at 1,400 gold compared to 800 gold. No one wanting to go into low upkeep. This is very, very grubby-esque, just trying to frustrate your opponent. And what you're trying to do here is you're just trying to, you yourself are trying to make unforced errors while getting your opponent to make some errors. There is a lot to be said about just trying to run around the map efficiently and consistently, getting to where you need to be. But, well, once that Lich gets up to level 5, that level 3 Frost Nova will really shut down that hit and run tactic play even more, as that burst damage, Death Coil Frost Nova may be able, yeah, I believe it takes down a Raider in one shot. Remember when Todd raged and called... I do not remember that. I do not remember that. But then again, it does not surprise me that Todd would say that. Or, yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know if you've ever gone to like your local comic book store and you played that guy with Magic or whatever game that you were playing, the most uninteractive deck. Like, the guy is just playing solitaire, and you're just like, wait, I want to, like, I want to attack you, I want to do something, but you're just constantly shutting down attacks. This game is just absolutely no fun. That's the style that we're seeing Lin Guagua play with right now. He's just playing this particular tactic that is very, Chain Lightning bouncing around as we're trying to see him establish that center. All right, Frost Nova right into the center. Death Coil, is it going to be enough? No, it looks like he lost line of sight for a split second, as the unit's going to try to engage back over here. All right, these peons actually moving around pretty. Those peons were moving rather fast, as we're going to see once again a Scroll of Town Portal trying to come back here. Acolytes with the repairs. There is another Chain Lightning. Farseer is going to be able to get away. It does not, well, looks like it, just because of that one ability there. We're going to see a Shockwave go down. Farseer, well, Lich getting up to level, or staying at level 4, as that Farseer is able to head back away. Tauren Chieftain sitting at level 4, stopping the expansion in the center. It's pretty hard to play, to be honest. Every time I see this, I think of that football coach. You play to win. Hello, well, playing to win is one of those things, right? Like playing to win versus playing not to lose. is a different mentality. And in some cases you need one, in some cases you need another. Right here, it doesn't look like Lin Guagua is really doing anything that is gonna help him win right now. And same thing with Labyrinth. Labyrinth is just trying to make it so that his opponent doesn't get too big of an advantage. 55 supply compared to 40, and Lin Guagua is actually behind on terms of overall supply, but because his army is able to move in two smaller units, and it is a very, very quickly moving, fast-moving army, he's able to get where he wants to go. Wow! Farseer gets down to 14 hit points. Death Coil, Frost Nova, almost enough to finish off that Farseer right there. And that's what I said. If that Lich had gotten to level 5, it would have been enough. Farseer barely has any survivability at only 725 hit points. His hero armor and his hero armor type really making that difference right there. Labyrinth's economy is in absolute shambles. The main base is no longer mining. The expansion needs to get back up once more. Meanwhile, Lin Guagua is sitting on no upkeep. So not only is he mining more than his opponent right now, even if Labyrinth gets up to gets back his expansion back up and running, he is still going to end up being behind. Oh, that skeletal minion right there should have stayed in its position, did a little bit of pathing and blocking once more, as we're looking at, well, those shadow wolves just constantly causing issues once again. We are going into banshees. We're another attack, hit and run tactic here. I'm trying to look at the economy. I don't believe Lin Guag, does he actually have, oh yes, he does actually have a pillage. It would make sense. There goes another raider once more. Are we going to see the death of a Zeppelin? Oh no, Zeppelin was able to be saved once again. I believe, what was it? Yeah, Zeppelin saved at 11 hit points. It should be repaired. But this hit and run strategy is just so many problems and so many. Well, the Goblin Zeppelin apparently doesn't want to be repaired, not flying overhead of anything else.
Summoning is complete.
Lin Guagua finally below 1,000 gold as he tries to stick around 40 in that mid 40 supply. Meanwhile, Labyrinth is sitting at 55 supply. He has had the not the economic advantage, but the overall advantage in terms of supply for quite some time, but has not been able to translate into very much of anything. Death Knight now back here. There's a Death Coil onto the Raider. Raider gonna try and escape once more. Death Knight. Well, what is it gonna do? Is it just gonna chase and then go fire another Death Coil? Double Death Coil all the way to finish that off. Meanwhile, the Shadow Wolves going after the Acolytes here. Acolytes are, well, even what is going on? Why isn't the Destroyers actually attacking it? That's what I don't get, as it could have devoured magic or done something else to try and finish it off. Meanwhile, Lich is now at level 5. Shadow Wolves going to be making their way back over. No shade for Labyrinths to be able to spot the Shadow Wolves before they get into position. That is key, as this Acolyte could get taken down before. Well, are we going to see? There goes another strike. There goes one. There goes another, as the Shadow Wolf is going to end up getting taken out once more. It's going to get taken down, as now we see an engagement here. Tauren Chieftain going to go ahead and turn around and try and fight back here. Farseer is here. A bunch of ensnares go down. Obsidian Statue going to end up being lost here, as the Death Knight doesn't have the mana. Trying to go Death Coil onto the Tauren Chieftain. Tauren Chieftain able to escape ever so barely. There's an exchange of raiders for a Crypt Fiend, but once more losing or not being able to finish off such a low hit point hero. That is going to be the death of Labyrinth, as he just constantly trades inefficiently for essentially what are Scrolls of Town Portal. Continuing to fight their way through Watchtowers with that fast attack speed. Tauren Chieftain could be, Tauren Chieftain throws in a shockwave, Chain Lightning bouncing around. Death Knight trying to make its way back across over here, going after the Farseer. Death Knight does not have that much mana. Units are fighting their way through, as the shockwave now still ripping their way through the army here. There goes a couple more webs, as well, Wind Riders are back here onto the field. Chain Lightning still bouncing around, as the Crypt Fiend could get taken down. Level 4 now on the Dark Ranger. 5-5-4 going up against a 5-5 here, as Raiders should get taken down as well. Trying to go after more. Are we going to see a Frost Nova? There's a Dark Ritual, as the units are now making their way back off to the north again. All right, Peons trying to mine here. well, 45 supply compared to 7. Well, as we're looking at a couple of Spirit Wolves going after some of those units. Lich going to finish it off. Death Coil onto the Lich to try and save. Death Knight is at level 6 with now level 3 Unholy Aura. Going to be able to move even faster across the map as the Death Knight could be in trouble. All right, there's a Chain Lightning Death Coil. No, Dark Ranger going to be in trouble. Dark Ranger gets taken down. Level 6, level 5, death of a level 4 Dark Ranger as we're looking at the Farseer trying to back away. Lich does have enough mana for perhaps a Death or Frost Nova onto that Tauren Chieftain. Tauren Chieftain down to 40 hit points. Potion of Lesser Invulnerability in time again as the Lich ends up burning a Frost Nova onto the Tauren Chieftain, expecting it to get taken down, only to see a Potion of Invulnerability on the Tauren Chieftain. Cold and calculated right there, trying to bait that Frost Nova, and well, baits it and then ends up still surviving there. Tauren Chieftain trying to heal back up at that Fountain of Health. We're looking at the their way back over. Acolyte is trying to get back away. There's that Death Coil. There's some Devour Magic, Obsidian statues, perhaps some repairs. One Shade would be all the difference that you need to stop this, well, constant harassment. Dark Ranger getting resurrected, and will be back in play here. Level 6, level 5, level 4 labyrinths with really a commanding lead in terms of experience. He should be able to translate into a victory, but hasn't been able to shut down Lin Guagua, as Lin Guagua now has taken the important center expansion here on Concealed Hill. Yeah. Once the superior economy is going to be coming into play, Death Knight, well, there goes the Shockwave through the middle, trying to get some damage in. Wind Riders trying to finish off some units here. There's one Obsidian statue in the back. Goblin Zeppelin getting webbed back down. Farseer trying to, well, bounce around some damage across all of those units as the anti-magic shell does come to an end. Goblin Zeppelin still, well, is going to try to micro any of those units. Is going to try to perhaps pick up any of those units there as we're looking at another death of a Raider again. Death Knight sitting at level 6 does not have Animate Dead. Doesn't even really have the necessary mana to use that ability well, as the Banshee about to get taken down. Destroyer now jumps into the sky knowing that it doesn't have any more mana, and well, trying to get mana back onto an Obsidian statue really isn't all that helpful. No siege damage is going to be the problem though. Undead, this army composition having that particular problem, having difficulty trying to take down buildings as the Crypt Fiend stays alive temporarily. Dark Ranger is going to be coming back in from the other side. There goes a Raider as unit after unit is getting traded slowly but surely. Level 5 supply unit as the Tauren Chieftain coming in. Dark Ranger making its way through the middle. It is a pin cushion, an absolute pin cushion right there. Death Knight needs to get a Death Coil off, and he gets the Death Coil off, but on the Tauren Chieftain. The Dark Ranger, I do not know if that was cold and calculated, but the Death Coil in time saves the Dark Ranger, as the Death Knight is now going to be in a little bit of trouble. Units are now trying to back around here. Death Knight down to 216 hit points. What is going on in this match as the Tauren Chieftain tries to escape down to 145 hit points? He's going to try and chase away. There's Farseer, and that's Bloodlust. All right, Bloodlust getting back around here as the Tauren Chieftain is going to be able to finish off any of those units as the Tauren Chieftain. Goal. The Scroll of Town Portal picked up the army. The Dark Ranger had fired an arrow. The arrow was about to take out the Tauren Chieftain, as the Tauren Chieftain uses the Scroll of Town Portal to get that temporary potion of invulnerability. Yeah, I don't know if Lin Guagua can get back into this game. So much experience. Tauren Chieftain needs to heal up. Healing at the Fountains of Health going to be incredibly important. Tauren Chieftain, even if it gets to level 6 now, it will have reincarnation. But Shockwave over Stomp, that I guess that is always the question to have with that Tauren Chieftain. Farseer and the Tauren Chieftain both needing to have a lot of mana. No clarity potions here, which is a surprise since Lin Guagua does still have an expansion going in the center portion and mining away as well. Shadow Wolves going to go ahead and finish off a couple of these acolytes, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. I really just think one Shade would have been the difference here. Ghouls would have been able to finish off, as we're looking at a bit of pressure now. All right, Watchtower getting repaired here. Raiders actually in the back there. Death Knight, Death Coil tries to save as units are backing up. 41 supply compared to 44. There's a Chain Lightning bouncing around. Torrent Chieftain may be able to get a Shockwave off. There's an Ensnare onto the Obsidian Statue as that Shockwave, pushing in a lot of damage. Obsidian Statue about to get taken down. Chain Lightning bouncing around once more. There goes some Crypt Fiends. 35 supply compared to 44. And then Guagua, looks to be okay right now with an 11 supply advantage. Farseer able to back up again. Death Knight, Potion of Lesser Invulnerability working out well. There's that Death Appearance. Frost Nova onto the Farseer as we are now level 6 onto the Torrent Chieftain. Level 6 Torrent Chieftain still alive. And now with Reincarnation, we'll be able to get in more damage still. Chain Lightning bouncing around again as the units are trying to back away. Those Shadow Wolves just doing so much damage back and forth as the Torrent Chieftain is just saying, you know what? I don't care if you kill me at all. All right, damage going to add back up. And there it goes. There goes that Torrent Chieftain. It gets taken out. But it's just going to get back up again. And that is the issue. Level 6 Torrent Chieftain, even if you knock it out, it will get back up again. The question is, well, come on, Lich. You actually want to be next to that Fountain of Health. The question is, if the Lich gets to level 6, will a level 6 Lich with Death and Decay, is that going to become a problem? Death and Decay would represent an ability or a way for LabyRinth to actually deal damage to fortified buildings easily. Yes, it is on a bit of a cooldown, and the Raiders do have Ensnare, but, well, if you can control those Raiders, that could be a major difference. Banshees do not have possession. They do have possession, but no real chance for possession throughout this match, as we're looking at, what is Lin Guagua doing, trying to push in this far? 42 supply compared to 41. We are looking at the Farseers. How do they get all the way to the other side here? All right, so now Staff of Teleportation, Chain Lightning bouncing around, Lin Guagua pretty much being everywhere they want to be, and being able to put in pressure again off on the far side here. Farseer gets up to level 6, goes for Earthquake, and now going to shut down the buildings. All right, Farseer finally being forced to use the Scroll of Town Portal. There goes Frost Nova. Is it going to be able to go? Taking down the gold mine with the final hit right there. And now the economy of the undead is completely shut down in its tracks. If LabyRinth is going to take this game, he needs to do it now. Otherwise, his opponent is just going to continue to pull further and further ahead, as we're looking at, every bit of gold mattering. All right, Acolytes, are they going to start unsummoning? Yeah, they need to unsummon some gold mines there. Are we going to see this Watchtower get taken out? Watchtower, Shadow Wolves now making their way back off to the north. Unit's going to turn back around. Torrent Chieftain, yes, 2 minutes left on that Reincarnation. There goes a Shaman, but does not give the Lich level 6. Level 6 going to be incredibly important. Obsidian statues off to the side here, as we're going to see. There goes another Watchtower. Destroyers are still there. There's a web down, trying to finish off some of those units. Meanwhile, coming in off to the side here, Shadow Wolf is going to finish off the haunted gold mines again. Torrent Chieftain back in play. Are we going to see a Shockwave go through these units? We should be looking at a Shockwave. Not quite sure why we don't see it. There it goes. There's that Chain Lightning. Lich gets up to level 6. Death Knight going to be in trouble. Potion of Lesser Invulnerability used in time. No, wait. Comes to an end as the Death Knight falls at level 6, and Lin Guagua is most likely going to take this game now with an amazing hold, even though his opponent was down. Purposely casting Earthquake to slow down his opponent at the very end and keep them all in place. All right, a little bit of a Manor Earthquake right there, allowing Lin Guagua to take out LabyRinth in this matchup. If you could see the total score throughout the game, LabyRinth must have had an amazing advantage. If you look at the overall gold mined, almost a 10,000 gold difference between the gold mined, and Lin Guagua never went into low upkeep. That was one of the major differences there. Lin Guagua also using his smaller army very effectively, constant hit and run tactics, and Shadow Wolves just absolutely annoying. If I had to change anything about Shadow Wolves, I would make it so that after they attack, they stay visible longer, right? It almost seems like the Shadow Wolves attack, the Acolyte was walking away, and in that distance that the Acolyte walked away, you couldn't attack that Shadow Wolf again, and that was just constant harassment enough. Very annoying, very difficult to deal with, but one of Orc's advantages. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned for more.